This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the HTC Pure for AT&T. This is AT&T's first Windows Mobile 6.5 device. Though since it's running HTC's TouchFlow 3D user interface, you won't see a whole lot of Windows Mobile 6.5, but you do see more compared to the HTC Imago on Verizon. As you can see, it's a gloss black phone, something like the Fuse was. This does not have a hardware keyboard, so therefore it's a lot thinner and lighter. It only weighs 4.15 ounces. It's considerably smaller than the Touch Pro 2 on AT&T or the Imago. You can see it's a gloss blackish blue color. In the light, this is actually a deep metallic blue, and it picks up fingerprints like crazy. You just look at it and it gets fingerprints. You see there's a 5 megapixel camera on back. There is no flash. There is no self-portrait mirror, though the back is so shiny it could function as a self-portrait mirror. The stylus is here, which despite the touch interface you'll probably find yourself needing from time to time because the 3.2-inch display is a little bit small for easy finger tapping. Here on the bottom we have the USB port. Under the cover it's the HTC EXT USB port, which is basically a mini USB port that also functions as the headphone jack. AT&T does include an adapter that you can use. I'll show you the port. You can plug in here, and that dongle adapter allows you to use 2.5mm and 3.5mm headsets. There is no headset included in the box. You will need to use one if you want to use the built-in FM radio. Much like other recent HTC devices, here you can see there are small buttons at the bottom. These are not gloss, which is nice, so you don't slip around quite so much trying to press them, and they have kind of a wave shape here, so there is a little hint as to what button you're on. And this is the zoom bar that works primarily in the web browser for zooming in and out. Since this is a resistive display, there is no multi-touch, there is no pinch and zoom. The volume buttons are on the side here. Power buttons up top. Let's take a look at the device. You've got standard TouchFlow 3D user interface here. You've seen before in other recent HTC phones. AT&T went with a blue theme this time, which is certainly better than the kind of dishwater gray we saw on the Fuse. And you've got the people screen for photo caller ID, text messages in MMS, your email with the flickable envelopes, and a palette of applications that has the AT&T symbol here. Now, interestingly, you can hide and show tabs as you see fit under settings, so you can get rid of this, but the good thing about it is it does kind of ghettoize all of AT&T's applications, not all of which you might want, in one place. But we do have useful ones like AT&T Navigator here, AT&T's Wi-Fi, since you can use Wi-Fi at a number of hotspots for free. It's provided by AT&T. It's Mobi TV here, a bunch of demo games. CV, which is now called Mobile Video, we'll demo that in a minute. AT&T's Music. And that's about all of interest here. We've got the Opera web browser with the listing for push pages, calendar. I love this one a lot. Any appointments that you have, they'll show up as little notches in the corners of the day. And you can tap in to see that appointment. Stocks, camera interface, which has flickable list of the last pictures you've taken, and you can launch the camera and video camcorder from here. Got the music tab, which is unchanged from TouchFlow 3D. Weather, the same nifty HTC weather with the 5-day forecast at the bottom. It shows up on newer versions of TouchFlow 3D. You can have several cities. And we've got settings here. You can get the most common settings. If you hit all settings, you will see the new Windows Mobile 6.5 UI, which has the staggered grid. I suppose this is supposed to be more finger-friendly because the edges are not touching as much, less chance of accidentally hitting something, but the icons are not very sophisticated looking, and they're not very large, but they are big enough to hit with your finger. Pretty much what you're going to find in here is all the same stuff you had before. Instead of tabs, now Connections, Personal, and System have their own little folders. If you tap on one, you'll see the things you usually would see in System. Again, with that kind of staggered, messy-looking grid. On the Verizon HTC Imagio, HTC has hidden more of that user interface. So it's interesting to see here that AT&T has decided to let more Windows Mobile 6.5 show through, for better or worse. You've got a program launcher here, and you can add and remove programs to your heart's content. And if you want to get to all programs, you can use the Windows Start Menu key button here, or just tap up here. And again, we see the same staggered grid of all programs. If you don't like TouchFlow 3D, hard to imagine because it is pretty nice, you can turn it off and get the standard Windows Mobile interface for your Today screen. We have a separate video that shows you that, and it has something like the Microsoft Zune Today theme available, or you can go with the traditional Windows Mobile 6.1 kind of look. So let's take a look at some of the programs on here. We'll take a look at CV, now called Mobile Video. And we're doing this over AT&T's 3G connection. The phone does also have Wi-Fi. And this runs through the Opera web browser, which obviously works in landscape mode with the accelerometer. The phone does not support landscape everywhere. It depends on the application. The application supports landscape. Then you can turn the phone and change the orientation of the display. Let's just launch a video. And we'll switch to landscape via once the video starts.
Usually when players or coaches criticize the officials openly like Ray Lewis did, there are repercussions. What can you tell us so far? Any repercussions on Ray Lewis?
Let's take a look at the on-screen keyboard and enter a URL. You can see it's awfully small. Since this is only a 3.2-inch display, it's harder to use than the Touch Pro 2's on-screen keyboard or the Imagio on Verizon, which is also 3.6 inches. So you have to be pretty precise with your fingers here. There is haptic feedback, so it's vibrating as I press the keys. It does help. And I'm not doing too badly, though it is small. So it's usable. It also has nice features like you can press and hold to get the alternate key for that key without having to switch your keyboard function. So you'd press and hold a letter to get a number, for example. The 800 by 480 pixel display is great for web browsing. You get an initial zoomed out view in Opera, as always. Text is generally speaking too small to read, unless it's a mobile optimized site. But you can tap in to read the text. So there's our website. You can see the scrolling is quite quick. Tap in to zoom, or you can use the zoom bar. Opera Mobile does a great job of rendering desktop sites. It's not the fastest browser in the world, but it is doing a lot of heavy lifting. IE Mobile 6 is also on board, if you prefer that, which does have improved rendering over older versions of Internet Explorer Mobile for Windows Mobile, though it's not quite as good as Opera still. We have AT&T Navigator on board. We'll take a quick look at that. Okay, we're downloading the map over 3G connection. As you scroll around, it'll draw the rest of the map after it downloads it. So it looks pretty good. The high resolution display really helps. Again, at 3.2 inches, the fonts can be a little bit small to read, but you can do zooming in this as well. If you go with the AT&T Navigator, which is powered by Telenav, you get spoken turn-by-turn directions, mapping on screen, POIs, and a lot of good stuff. Next, we'll take a look at a demo game. It's a racing game called Ferrari GT Evolution. So it's a 528 megahertz Qualcomm CPU. does a pretty good job with video. I expect it should certainly be able to handle this game just fine. This uses the accelerometer for steering. Graphics aren't super sophisticated, but at the same time it is a 3D game and the phone is having no problem keeping up with the game. One last thing we'll take a look at is the Windows Mobile Marketplace, which is just coming live for Windows Mobile 6.5 devices today. This isn't exactly going to compete heavily with iTunes just yet, but hopefully they'll get some good apps up and maybe the prices will even come down, since Windows Mobile program prices tend to be considerably higher than iPhone products and Android applications. So here's the user interface. It's certainly large. Nobody will have trouble reading that. It looks like it's been optimized for QVGA devices. It's my guess. So it looks kind of silly large, but this gets better here once you click through. So we've already got a selection of applications that are available to look at. We'll just tap on one and see. Some of the apps here are free. You get a description, features. You can read reviews that people have written, consumer reviews. See a couple of screenshots. It's not too bad, really. Again, we'll see what the selection is like and what the pricing is like, but we do have a lot of 99-cent applications on here, particularly board games and things like that. And it's fast enough to scroll through. So. And you can search by category here too. Books, business, communication, reference, entertainment, games, lifestyle, music video, news, weather, productivity, social networks, travel, and tools. At the moment it looks like most things have under 20 per category, but since this is just coming live now, we're sure that more will become available. This is compared to the iPhone. Obviously one of the selling points for this is it's very small and it's light at 4.15 ounces. So the iPhone looks absolutely huge compared to it. Of course, it is still thicker than the iPhone, but not as much as you would think. And we'll take a comparison look at Touch Pro 2. This is Verizon's Touch Pro 2 here. This is Verizon's Touch Pro 2. As you can see, it's the much larger sibling, since it has the slide-out keyboard and the larger 3.6-inch display. Touch Pro 2 has that keyboard. So if you're looking for a compact but powerful Windows mobile device, or just a smartphone in general, the HTC Pure is definitely worth a look on AT&T. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and visit our website to read the full review.